Every year at this time, I sail Ananda, our 44-foot Cherubini, from Cudjoe Key, Florida to Marblehead, Massachusetts. My crew, as it has been almost every year now for quite a few years, was Dottie Martin, my fiancée, and Jill Mason, my dear friend from childhood. We left Cudjoe Key on May 17th and right away encountered 20-knot easterly winds right on the nose. We were doing about 3 knots, and finally, when we were abreast of Marathon, we ducked in because we were having some engine troubles, and the weather was just going to be the same for the next several days. So we were in Marathon from May 17th until the 22nd, and from there we left and went around the Keys to Lake Worth, where we again ran into some weather problems and took a lay day on the 24th of May, and then finally got off on the 25th, we were hoping to head nonstop to Cuttyhunk, Massachusetts. But we did have to use the engine quite a bit up to Beaufort, North Carolina, where we did duck in and refuel so that we'd have plenty of fuel for the rest of the trip. But as it turned out, we had excellent winds, and we, up until about 40 miles south of Montauk, there was almost no wind until there was a micro burst of wind. We had all the sails up, and we got hit and knocked down with about, I would guess, 40 knots of wind. Jill was brushing her teeth. It was 6:30 in the morning, and her duffel bag was on the port side bunk, and when she got out of the head, the duffel bag was on the starboard side bunk, didn't even hit the floor. So we went way over. The cockpit was half underwater. The whole starboard side deck was underwater. Good news is nothing bad happened, and we didn't lose anything. And the spinnaker was on the foredeck, and it went over the side, but it was tied on. But took all that Jill and I had to get that spinnaker pulled back aboard. So from there, we had very little wind, and by this time our engine was hardly working. It would start up and almost immediately quit. So we sailed, instead of going to Cuttyhunk, we went to Block Island, and we used the outboard with the 2.5 horsepower to move us into the Old Salt Pond at Block Island. And from there, the next day, we were able to sail up to Newport. There we were hoping we might get some help on the engine. But as it turned out, I found the problem. It was just an annoying little wire that was hooked to the shut-off solenoid valve on the injection pump. It was a very quick and easy fix, and from there on home, it was just not even an issue. The engine started right up and ran perfectly. So the total length of the trip was 1,368 miles, and it took us from May 17th to June 3rd, and glad to be home. And the boat performed beautifully otherwise, some great sailing, and you'll see videos coming up. So that's our story. Here we are, May 22nd, finally leaving. Left Marathon this morning. We're having this incredibly gorgeous sail. This sweet Natalie. There's Jill. Doing a respectable 6.12 knots, about 45 degrees off the wind, which is pretty good for this boat. Well, here we are, May 24th, left Cudjoe a week ago, and we've made it to Lake Worth, 200 miles so far. This is Rybovich, where any boat under 100 feet isn't allowed. And we're waiting for this storm to pass over the coast. This is Lake Worth. There's Chelsea. There she is. She was trying to hide from me. Yeah, it's about 85 degrees, you can tell. Well, we left Beaufort after refueling this morning. We spent 13 hours there, and you can see we're on our way to Hatteras, having a beautiful spinnaker run. We have some current with us, almost 8 knots. So it's about 5 o'clock. We are adjacent to Cape Hatteras, going around 8 to 9 knots with this beautiful spinnaker. We're still on break. There's Sweet Patty for watch. Tuesday morning, May 30th. And we're sailing along the lake. Really good because we got major engine problems.
now we don't need it because we've got all this wind. Because Ananda on board does not have power. And there's the crew. And we're about to enter the harbor at Block Island without sails and using our newfound power.